Hello and welcome. I'm Jamie Mogil, President of the League of Women Voters of Lower Merion and Narberth. I'm honored to be serving as host for interviews of the candidates for judge of the Delaware County Court of Common Pleas for the 2025 general election. The League is committed to creating nonpartisan voter education that helps you, the public, be better informed, irrespective of party or candidate affiliation. As a nonpartisan organization, the League, we neither support nor oppose any candidate or party. The Common Pleas Court is the main judicial body for the county, handling a variety of significant matters, including major civil and criminal trials. PA is just one of a handful of states where we elect our judges from the state level all the way down to the local county level in partisan elections. Specifically, there are candidates running to fill two vacancies for the Delaware County Court of Common Pleas. After a 10-year term, a judge can run for retention, which is the voter saying yes or no to the judge staying on the bench. Those are separate questions, though, so make sure that you look for those on your ballot. But today, we'll be focusing on the interviews of the candidates running to actually get on the bench. Just a quick overview of the format for you. The candidates will have 2 minutes for an opening statement to introduce themselves, their background, and why they're running for judge. I'll then ask questions, and the candidate will have 90 seconds to respond. There's a timer to assist the candidate to make sure they keep within the allotted time and keep a nice flow to the presentation. You won't see it, but the candidate and myself will see the timer. At the end of the questioning, I'll prompt the candidate for their closing statement, which is also 2 minutes. And then I'll do a quick wrap up to say thanks. But without further ado, I'm going to ask the candidate to please introduce themselves and give us their opening statement.
Good evening, Jamie, and thank you so much for doing this and hosting. And thank you to the League of Women Voters. This is a real democratic process that we're involved in here in running for local office. And you're really doing great public service to the community by recording and airing these interviews. Let me tell you a bit about me. I'm running for the Court of Common Pleas to continue my lifetime of public service. And I'll tell you a little bit about me first, and then my experience and why I think I'll be a good judge. First of all, I'm a real Delco guy. I grew up here in Delaware County. I come from a working class family that suffered a lot of tragedy, quite frankly. My mother came to this country as a 15-year-old Ukrainian refugee from a Nazi slave labor camp. First place she ever lived as a free person in this world was in the city of Chester. My father dropped out of Upper Darby High School when he was 17 years old to join the United States Army during the Korean War. Unfortunately for me, my mother died in childbirth when I was born. My father had a tough time trying to keep us and on track to live the American dream. He was able to keep us out of poverty because he got a Social Security check from my mother's hard work. And he was able to get us into the middle class when he got a union job as a SEPTA bus driver. My family, as I said, had really hard times. I had a stepmother who was an alcoholic. And I think those experiences really give me a sense of purpose about trying to serve the public, and which I want to bring those experiences and those principles with me to the bench. As I've said, I've spent a lifetime in public service. I graduated from St. Denis Elementary School here in Havertown, Ridley Senior High School, and then I went on. I'm the first person in my family ever to go to college. I graduated, I didn't even start college till I was 29 years old, but I graduated from Thomas Edison State College in New Jersey at 33. I went to law school and graduated from Temple School of Law at 37. So I've been practicing law for the last 25 years. I've served as an assistant district attorney in Delaware County. I've served as an assistant United States attorney for the Federal Eastern District of Pennsylvania. I served as your deputy state treasurer, and now I'm the twice elected district attorney of Delaware County.
Well, it's beyond impressive, but and we'll hear more, but we have to consider the timing of all of that. So we'll get right into the questions. The first one being, and this will help us to learn a bit more about you. What qualities do you have that you believe will make you a good judge?
Great question. First of all, I think, again, my commitment to public service. I've spent most of my adult life serving the public. And as district attorney for the last 6 years, I've been an officer of the Court of Common Pleas. So I'm responsible for the 5,000 plus cases, criminal cases that are prosecuted every year in the Delaware County courts where I intend to serve. But I think the biggest thing that qualifies me is my temperament. I have seen how hard life can be for people. I understand and have great empathy for human suffering, but I also know and respect the rule of law. So I'm going to bring those qualities to the bench along with my hard work and integrity.
Next, we want to know if you can describe, and you've talked about it a little bit, but more describe your present and past community activities and how will they influence the kind of judge you will be if elected?
Yeah, it's a great question. So my lifetime of public service is really about trying to help people. That's what I learned at St. Denis when I was a young kid. That's what we're supposed to do. And I've just taken that to have, as my career. So what I want to do on the bench is help people. Quite frankly, what happens in court is people bring their disputes for somebody to settle. Whether it's family court, civil court, or criminal court, you have to be responsive to people. You have to treat them with dignity and respect. But then eventually somebody has to impose the rule of law. And I've demonstrated from my political and elected career that I have the capabilities to do that.
And the next question is what will you do both on and off the bench if elected to ensure that all individuals have equal access to the courts?
Yeah, great question. So, we as judges, we take the cases that come before us, or I should say, when I am a judge, you take the cases that are assigned to you. But I think all of us in the Delaware County Courthouse, especially in the last 6 years I've been district attorney, we've made a real commitment making sure that everybody who comes into the system is treated with dignity and respect. I led the fight in Delaware County to deprivatize our county jail, and I've reduced the prison population by 40% because we're taking low-level offenders, and instead of locking them up, we're giving them the help they need after holding them accountable to make sure that they go on to live the American dream. That's what I want to do as judge as well. I really want to get involved in treatment court. We have a mental health court. We have a drug treatment court. And I want to see if I can make a difference in people's lives that way, sitting on the bench with a robe on instead of being the prosecutor in front of the judge.
And if elected, what will you do to maintain your independence as a judge?
Well, I've always been independent, and I think my political career has shown that. I think you have to understand and remember when you're sitting in judgment of people, um, all of the experiences that you bring to that position, the life experiences you've had. I mentioned my family's struggles, for example. But at the end of the day, what it's also about is trying to find justice for them, for both parties. And if they can't negotiate a just settlement, whether it's a child custody matter or a civil matter or a criminal matter, the judge has to follow the law and impose it without partiality. And I think that that's the strength I really bring to this based on my experience and what people can see from my record as district attorney. I always do what I think is right, sometimes to my detriment.
And you've brought up some of the things, but I'll ask you more specifically. What do you think are the most pressing needs of our criminal justice system? And what can you do as a judge to address them if elected?
Yeah, great question. The biggest issue we face right now today, and I mentioned how we've diverted people from the Delaware County prison population, but what we really need are more mental health options. All of my police chiefs in Delaware County complain rightly that we don't have anything. We're being called on as a criminal justice system to deal with the failure of our mental health system in this country. And that's not right, both for you as a taxpayer or for the person who is suffering from these mental illnesses. When I worked at the Department of Justice, we did a report that said that 40% of people in local jails were suffering from diagnosable mental illnesses. That shouldn't ever happen. So I want to help lead the fight. Justice Dougherty has been doing that at the state Supreme Court. We have a behavioral health summit we just had 2 weeks ago to try to bring resources and attention to the problem of mental and behavioral health in our courts?
Again, we're flying through the questions. We're already at the last one. Um, well, the Delaware County court system covers many vital areas, such as
Yep.
family and juvenile matters, and has a budget of nearly $60 million. Do you think that there are improvements that could be made to the court system? And if so, what are they, and how can you address them if elected as judge?
Yeah, I am a government reformer. That's what I have done all of my career is try to find ways to make government serve the people better. As district attorney, I've been working hand in glove with our current judges, President Judge Cardizano and the previous President Judge Kelly, both to shut down our juvenile detention facility when allegations were made that children had been abused there, to do things like create the diversionary programs that I mentioned that have reduced our prison population by 40%. And right now we're involved. This may come as somewhat of a shock, but we just instituted electronic filing in the Delaware County Criminal Division. 6 years it's taken me, but I finally convinced the judges that we have to enter at least the late 20th century, if not the 21st century. You mentioned how much money our courts get. It may not be enough. Delaware County needs to upgrade across the board. We need to do a much better job of moving cases. I've heard complaints from too many lawyers, both the civil, family, and the criminal side. The cases take too long to be decided in Delaware County. I intend to work hard to move my cases and to use every tool in the toolbox I can, including my voice, to make sure that we're always trying to do what we can to improve the criminal justice system in Delaware County and in Pennsylvania.
Well, thanks so much. I can't believe it. We're already to the end. We'll probably keep talking just as an attorney. I find it interesting. But this is time for your closing remarks. You do have up to 2 minutes, so I'll turn it over to you for your closing remarks.
Well, thank you, Jamie, and thanks for your hosting, and thanks for the wonderful questions. As I mentioned, I'm lucky enough to be serving now my second term as district attorney. Uh, the reason I'm running for the Court of Common Pleas is one, I want the challenge to continue to serve, but two, I'm also term limited in Delaware County. We have a home rule charter that term limits all the county elected officials. So I want to continue to serve in a way that I feel can do the best for folks. I've enjoyed being district attorney. We've made great progress. You may have seen recently Governor Shapiro came to the city of Chester, a place where my heart bleeds because my mother first came there when she came to this country as an immigrant from Ukraine. And we've reduced reduced the number of shootings there by 65% over the last 5 years, and the number of gun homicides by 74%. So we've been able to reduce the prison population while we've been reducing gun violence in Delaware County's only city. I feel that I'm the best prepared person by my 25 years of experience in serving in public office and as a lawyer to go to the Court of Common Pleas and to try to find justice for people. But the thing I think that the listeners and the viewers, I would want you to leave you with is this. I've spent my life in public service because I care passionately about other human beings like me who've had to struggle. I'm the first in my family ever to go to college, never got there till I was 29 years old. I know how hard life can be. We're here in the government to try to improve people's lives. I've hoped I've been able to do that as district attorney. As a judge, whether I'm in the family, civil, or criminal division, I hope to do the same. I hope to make a positive difference in people's lives. They may not like the decisions I make, and that's been true as district attorney too. We get to play umpire. But at the same time, I think that people will understand that I'm following the law and listening to the facts and trying to make sure that people get what they deserve when they come to the courthouse. A fair hearing, treated with dignity and respect and justice.
Well, thank you. I do want to say on behalf of myself and the League of Women Voters of Delaware County, an interleague organization composed of both the Central Delaware County and Radnor Leagues. Thank you again for your time and running for this important position. To our viewers, thank you as well. You can see the other videos if you're watching this one by going to the Delaware County League website, but also vote411.org, the League one-stop shop for all the information you need for Election Day. And I'm sure you know that you're registered to vote if you're watching something like this, but it's always important to check with important dates coming up, as well as the all important November 4th, Election Day. And again, we are doing these videos to give you that nonpartisan election information. And please join us, join the league. And we encourage you because we're always better together in making sure that democracy works. So thank you again, and I'll leave it at that.